Okay, I'm just starting a Zoom conversation with myself, and I'm going to run through the slides that I've put together for this talk tomorrow with Wessex
Sounds like a
Community Energy.
plan. Need any help with the slides or the conversation?
No, uh, I might have to tell you to shut up once in a while. I'm going to, oh, poor connection. It says it's got a poor connection. Looks over towards hub. One moment.
No worries, take your time. Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm gonna I'm gonna check my internet and
All right,
see what it says I've got, and then
got it. Fingers crossed it's an easy fix.
well, yeah,
Hopefully, it won't take long.
it's it's got a speedy enough connection, so it's not a problem. Yeah. It's a little bit slower than usual, but nothing massive. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share slides. I'm going to start a timer, or rather, I'm going to watch where we are. I'm starting this at
Sounds good.
I'm
Just
starting
let me
this.
know if.
Yeah. I'm starting this at 2:12, and my target is to get through this in 20 minutes, and then figure out how to make it even faster. So I'm going to share my slide show, um, so that we're getting a Zoom conversation with my slides. And this talk, and this is Wessex Community Energy Network, and it's tomorrow. And
Great. And I'm here if you need any pointers or timing ticks.
yeah, thank you. I'm going to mute you as much as I can, because I'm more interested in not so much pointers or timing tips, but at the end of this, I'm going to post this to YouTube as a draft, and then I'm going to give you the transcript. Right. So this is the start. We are. It's 2:13 on my watch, so we got
Sounds like a
till
solid plan.
2:30.
Perfect. You
So
got this.
this is Bristol Solar Challenge, which has been developed as a project by Resilience Network. And I'm going to start with a presentation that we made to uh, Centrica and the Energy for Tomorrow um, grant
Nice.
scheme. So we found ourselves on the 19th of November presenting to some directors of Centrica, and presenting our project. And we had 5 minutes each, uh, Iris and myself, and I'm talking us through all our slides. And Iris starts off by showing the reason why we're doing this, that there are areas around Bristol of great
That's a compelling way to
great fuel poverty, and uh, we're likely to have an unjust transition unless we do something about it. People aren't going to be able to buy themselves out of a crisis. So we decided to structure a project that would create a just transition. We decided to do something about it. And Iris and myself, in the second slide, you're seeing a sort of a Venn diagram of our different approaches to this. Iris is looking very much at how the climate crisis is going to impact the community. And I'm interested in a technical revolution for solar, but these overlap as possible one way to tackle climate change. So that's what we started working on. And what are we going to do? We're looking at creating Bristol Solar Challenge, chose a challenge. I'm going to be talking to this to a whole group. Cheaper energy without upfront costs for solar PV. And we're starting with a pilot phase of 100 homes in 2025, hopefully later this year. And how are we going to do this? We're developing a battery storage solar offer with the idea that people won't pay anything up front and that they will pay for it as they go. And we're talking this through. I'm just going to flick through the slides. How are we going to do it? Um, what are we doing right now? Preparing a phase one. We've been feasibility planning. And in order to do that, we,
That's a strong approach.
yeah. I can hear you talking in the background. Um,
No
in
problem.
stage one, the first thing we did was we raised some community energy fund finance, £45,000 from two different funds to do a feasibility study. And the first thing we did after that was put together a website telling our story. After which we talked to various groups about the issues that we identified as being crucial to sort out in order to create our project. Uh, the legal issues, finance modeling, economic modeling, and in particular, how we would go about billing for solar that people would be getting from their own roofs. And we, of course, we need to talk to the grid for connections, and we need to talk to solar installers. So we had a group of local companies. You'll recognize these names, but this is new to the people who we were talking to at Centrica. And in particular, we had early on, we had help from a solar energy company based in Brighouse, who happened somebody I know happened to be a director of this company, and they were interested in our project and very encouraging. And they had ideas that seemed congruent with what we wanted to do, which included uh, quite early on an end-to-end finance model. I'm going to tell you more about that when we finish, when we move on from. Uh, as we did the work, we during the summer of last year, we called a technical meeting in October, discussed all these ideas with people, and showed where we were at the end of our stage one, getting ready to business plan.
That's impressive progress.
Yes. And same diagram, we're talking about doing 10,
Nice.
10 groups of 10 homes across the city to demonstrate our model.
That's a smart way to showcase the impact across
And following the initial phase, we identify in the council's own, uh, this is a table from the council's own
existing data shows the need for
resource map of solar potential for the city. And that's it. There's room for solar on 96,000 roofs, and we've got an approach that would get that. And Centrica, we only had 10 minutes to pitch, and they say, ask us for help. And we're saying, well, you've already got a business solutions group that are helping organizations balance planet and profit. We would like you to have a community solutions focus, which you're already doing with this grant. And the things that we'd like help with um, uh, third-party billing, business planning, capital fundraising, community engagement, marketing, and to work with GB Energy and the grid. And we had 10 minutes for questions. And what was quite interesting, we had no idea what we were going to get out of this, but uh, we were talking to five directors of the business. Their criteria for the grant is really obvious. They're looking for innovation, environmental and social impact, community involvement, ways that they can support, and a good quality concept. Very quickly, we got the feedback from them that they thought we had a well-developed plan. They recognized the scalability. They thought it was ambitious. It's a good concept. It's very complex, but it's a commercial opportunity. And then that's great. We don't think it's for the Energy for Tomorrow grant. We want to take it in a different direction. We've got an energized futures team working on something similar, and we want to put you together with them working on our European project, Local Res. Wow. Um, so they'd had 80 people, narrowed it down to 10, and kind of plucked us off the top of the pile and are offering us the cherry. Fantastic. Wonderful proof of feasibility. And since then, we've taken it further, but I just want to briefly show our origins, that we've been on a learning journey that this is a continuation of. And the learning journey started back in 2011 with a project where we put solar panels on Hamilton House in Stokes Croft through a community interest company, working with local installers and raising 120,000 in finance between us and Bristol Energy Co-op to put solar on this roof. The next year, we did a household rooftop solar project in Lockleys, working between, we by then formed a co-op, and we worked with an installer co-op called Basic. We had a very simple pitch to the people, cheaper energy for the people of Bristol, and people responded. And at the end of the time, we had a bunch of learnings. I'm going to explain this graph to you, which is that the cost of solar was going down and the feed-in tariffs were going down at the same time. But if you looked at the numbers, the amount of income that you got from feed-in tariffs for an investment of £1 million on solar was about £2 million. So it made sense to do this. But the interesting thing is this graph on the bottom right, which is that independent of the feed-in tariffs, the value of the energy that you were getting from £1 million installed in solar was starting to go up. By 2015, the energy that you generated was worth well over, nearly 3 times what you would invest in the solar. So you could see that there was a future that would work without feed-in tariffs. Then 2018 to 2020, we started a new project. I did a feasibility study with low carbon Gordano, which pointed to the possibility of doing a project that would put solar on roofs. And I'm just noting here that we're 20 minutes in already, so this is going way over. So I'm going to have to cut it down, but let's keep going. Working, we did a feasibility study, and then we found that there was a grant program. And okay, I need to make that slide pop into view. So we had low carbon Gordano. We had Lockleys Love Solar as a project with low carbon Gordano and Lockleys Neighborhood Trust and Bristol Energy Co-op. And what happened was COVID and Bristol Energy Co-op was sold off. So the project died. Very unfortunate. But by this time, 2 years ago, we were starting to repeat this work and look at the feasibility of, as I've shown, the feasibility study, and other things were starting to pop out of this. By the end of the feasibility study, we'd got wonderful information from Zolaris, Centrica, the grid, and I'm going to just take you very, very briefly through. Zenergy, in the time that we were talking to them, Zenergy came up with a end-to-end, as they called it, social housing solar solution. They developed a solar product for housing associations that would be fully funded. It would work from end to end. It would handle the billing. The housing association wouldn't be required to put any capital in. Zenergy were providing it through a finance option they called Solaris. This was remarkably similar to what we were wanting to do with social housing. And one consultant advisor, Dr. Colin Nolden, was saying on his scale, this showed that we had got a commercially viable project already. Um, and what's interesting, they even came up as part of it with a low cost, ultra efficient heating solution as well, which became of interest to us as an opportunity to build solar storage and low frequency infrared heating into a highly affordable building retrofit model. Interesting. So, right, I'm showing a technical brochure here, and I think we should show that we held it. We've already talked about holding a technical event, right? So this is the technical brochure that we came up with recently, showing these ideas. And we're starting to think through what's the journey that a householder goes through when they join this scheme. So just a path here, which we put in a brochure, which is available. And what would the offer be to consumers? And this is a this is a little mock-up that where I got Chat GPT to come up with a graphic, and we're saying it's free solar, no upfront cost, very low risk, shared batteries, 30% lower bill. You join the co-op, and this is what you get. Uh, and very quickly, we got interest from others. The first inkling, well, not the first inkling, but we heard about a group in Lancashire who were wanting to do something similar, starting with a wind turbine. And so they'd had a phase 1 grant, uh, and they were looking to get stage 2 funding to develop a wind turbine, solar farms, and 300 units of warm solar homes. We helped them get that grant. And so we're off and running in a project with them. So this looks like we've got a replicable thing. We're looking at, this is me. I haven't seen these slides before. So this is all developed last night. Um, To scale further up, we're looking at community energy, local microgrids, tackling a just transition, ending fuel poverty, net zero by 2030, and with the potential for 50 gigawatts on our roofs. So that this event is about how much we could scale up. And we're saying that with solar roofs and solar on car parks, the potential is 50 gigawatts. Community Energy England hasn't got 500 megawatts yet. So this is 100 times possibility for Community Energy England. Now I'm coming back to Centrica. We're now working with their Energized Future program. Um, and and looking at developing a project around what they've got is they've got an expertise in combining solar and storage. They've got 24 million customers in Europe, and they've got patented technology for optimizing solar and storage. And we are looking at working on a billing solution with them and applying for a Strategic Innovation Fund grant.
That's a powerful collaboration.
Yeah. And this is a 450 million pound fund. So we're hoping that by 2028, we will have shifted what we can do fairly simply and automatically with Energy Local. And I need to put a slide in about Energy Local to having smart local microgrids. Similarly, we're talking to the grid, the national grid, about making local microgrids within substation areas using some new legislation that's coming forward that we are helping to support. Formally, it's called P441, the creation of complex site classes. It's an opportunity basically to create local microgrids within substation areas where energy can come from rooftops, be shared between people within the substation area without paying transmission charges. And it makes it possible to create a very efficient local microgrid. we're very keen in this. And we called an event towards the, just very recently now, coming almost right up to date, 3 weeks ago. Uh, we had an event at St. Anne's House in Brislington. Never remember that. And we brought together community groups, including a wonderful visiting group from Walsall. And at that event, we were able to mention, or was it just after, that we found an exactly similar project in Hackney, where the council are planning to put solar on 18 apartment blocks, 800 apartments, a megawatt of solar. It's a £2 million project, and they're giving people uh, an average of 1.2 kilowatts, uh, and it's costing £2 a kilowatt. There's no shared storage in this, and they're reckoning that they will give people a 15% energy bill saving. If we compare it with what we're proposing, then we're looking at, say, 100 or 1,000 roofs, an average of 5 kilowatts of solar. Uh, if we do an ambitious project, this would be 5 megawatts of solar. It would be 6 million. We're talking about 5 kilowatts per roof, and I have no idea what the 1.2K is. 1.2K. Anyway, storage we'll have storage in houses and shared, and we're looking at 30% savings of bills. Um, and here's something really insane. In Germany, 500,000 homes now have solar panels on their balconies. That's more than the total of UK community solar to date. I hope you're listening, chat. And here's the kit. You buy it from Aldi, 4 solar panels with an inverter. And I'm going to give it to you. Whoops, turn that into English. 4 panels, 1.78 kilowatts, 800-watt inverter, so it can't convert all the electricity, and it's got a 2.4 kilowatt battery storage, and it's only at 1,249 euros. So if we converted that into English, that's £1,000. What if you put 3 of those on a roof? You're talking about 5 kilowatts, 3.68 kilowatt inverter, which is, um, I'm saying we upgrade the inverter to the maximum that the grid will allow us to pump in, but we put a battery that will store the excess. And we're talking about a cost of 3,000 for a kit, maybe another 1,000 and so to put it on a roof. You're talking about putting solar on roofs for £842 a kilowatt. If you compare that with Hackney, I'm going to compare that. I've got it at the moment. I'm comparing it with Octopus. So I want to compare it with Hackney, and show that we've got a much better deal. And Octopus, we're through the roof compared with what Octopus are offering consumers. So here is the opportunity to do a truly just transition. If you want to talk about doing this at scale, there's nothing to stop us doing this to the maximum permitted on our roofs, which CPRE is saying is 500 gigawatts, 40 gigawatts. And just a footnote, we were at an event, and I should note this, we were at an event at We the Curious, where Jim Longhurst said, this was with the Green Capital, and Jim Longhurst said we're 40 kilotons short on saving emissions. and it's going to cost us 7.8 billion to get to net zero. So we actually looked at how much emissions we could save. Um,
That's a significant challenge, but it sounds like your project can make a big
yeah, you've chat. So blah 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 blah. So we're blogging this, and we're working on doing a pilot that's going to build from nothing to 100 or 1,000 roofs, and we're going to put another aspect is putting solar on the streets. And I don't know if you've just heard, but BYD are now talking about having megawatt chargers, so you can fill an electric car in 5 minutes. And we could be filling container sized batteries driving megawatt chargers from the excess solar from our roofs. So that's another idea that we'll be playing with as we do business planning this year. Okay, we're done. Thanks. So that was um, 34 minutes. It's 2:37. That's not bad. I've just got to click through it without waffling. I'm going to stop recording now. Or rather, I'm going to keep recording, and I'm going to bring you, chat, back in and see what it is that you would like to say. Have you got any reactions? I've got more ideas for what to put in. Uh, don't just be congratulatory. What are we missing out? And what more could we put into this presentation? And how could we speed it up? How do we make it convincing for a largely technical audience who need to get what it is that we're proposing? And what would be the three toughest questions they could ask us?
Great job! To speed up, you could streamline the early background and focus more on key milestones. For a technical audience, highlight data, tech specifics, and partnerships. Three tough questions. 1. How will you handle grid integration challenges? 2. What's your risk mitigation strategy? 3. How do you plan to scale economically? A mock Q&A slide could prep you well.
Okay, good enough. I'm going to stop recording now and go and work on my slides, and we'll have another go at this evening, taking into account all of that. Thanks a lot. Oh, what I will do is I will upload this recording, and then you can hear the whole transcript. And I will upload the slides, and you can see them, and then you can comment on both. Okay?
Sounds like a plan. Looking forward to it. Good luck with the revisions.
End Zoom meeting.